Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Around the Wicket. This time, we're going to talk about, a pretty dreaded topic over here, at least for me. Not sure about Vivin, but we're going to talk about the World Test Championship final that just took place between India and Australia at the Oval in England. And safe to say, India fan right here, I am not too happy. Not sure what the hell Vivin's trying to do, but I would hope that he's not happy as well. Vivin, what are your first impressions after that result?
If you ask the Vivin of 7th of June what I thought, I probably would be unhappy as well. But as you can probably tell, I'm a changed man. I'm decked out in the Australian hat. I'm wearing Australian shirt. I'm even wearing, you can see, yellow pants. Yellow pants. I've completely switched allegiances, and based on the match you saw, I don't understand how you still do it. How you're still an India fan? It's difficult to be after that absolute travesty, with allowing Australia to get 470 runs in innings one, and then absolutely. I mean, if it weren't for Ajinkya Rahane, I don't think we would have scored 200 runs totally in the Test match. But yeah, overall, I'd say pretty big L for India, and must suck for you. But I'm absolutely living right now because big Aussie fan over here. I love Smith. I love all of them. Every single one of them. They're my boys.
Bro, see, I'm a real fan because no matter what, I don't switch my allegiances. Backing Team India right here, the orange, white, and green flag. I got the boys' back. But yeah, you mentioned that first innings. Let's talk about that because
Sure.
even scoring 470, Rahul Dravid had said it after the match, but that was not a pitch where you can allow the batsman to score 470.
Sure.
And I think personally, that's where we lost the game. This was more of a bowling L than a batting L because 470 is just way too much, man.
Yeah. I mean, the bowling L was expected as soon as India made the, I wouldn't want to say, I want to say shocking decision, but it wasn't really shocking.
No, it really wasn't.
It really wasn't shocking. It should be shocking. We should all be shocked by it. But it was half expected. We were just kind of hoping that Ashwin would play, but he was expectedly sort of dropped. And my God, we miss him. I feel like more than just the wickets, there was a particular phase in the middle. I think just after Jadeja was brought on, where Jadeja was keeping things tight with one end, and on the other end you had either Umesh or Shardul just getting absolutely bodied around the park. The amount of runs they got unnecessarily, at least two to three loose balls every over. They were scoring like a boundary and over. It was an absolute joke to watch. They were batting at 6, 7 and over for a short period of time there. And I mean, with Ashwin there, I'm sure that we could have gotten more wickets, blah, blah, blah. But one thing guaranteed is that Ashwin and Jadeja on both ends, it plugs the run flow like that. Have you ever heard the story of that kid in Amsterdam who put his finger in the hole and stopped the flow, and then they fixed it the next day?
No, and I don't.
Okay,
let's move.
It's a great story, but that's how Ashwin and Jadeja would have
for another time
plugged the run flow. And it's not like there's this notion in Test cricket that the batsmen don't care about the runs. You're ready to just block all day. I mean, true to an extent, but when you have Ashwin and Jadeja giving them absolutely no space to score any runs, I reckon we would have put them under a lot of pressure. Smith and Head, and Head, he's a very aggressive type of player. He likes to be scoring runs, keeping the scoreboard, keeping the scorers busy. So yeah, I think we definitely got them. And also, just on the topic of bowling to them in the first innings, Siraj was bowling awesome bouncers to Head. Head was struggling with them. And then we went to different bowlers. Shardul, he was bowling overpitched and short balls. Good length balls. Umesh Yadav was bowling length, and I mean, it just doesn't work. It was clear that the bouncers are what were going to work against Heady, and that's not what we did. And at least if you're going to bowl length, you got to have the pace to do it, right? Shardul bowls at 65 kilometers an hour. So if anybody's length balls are going to give him trouble, it's not Shardul's.
Yeah, I mean the quality of our third and fourth seamers were just so poor this test. I mean, Umesh Yadav, and I love my guy Umbrose, but he was pretty not good, to say it kindly. And I don't know what the future looks like for him, but he's always been a bit reckless in overseas tests, and which is why I was backing the inclusion of Jaydev Unadkat, because he can provide that Ishant Sharma type of role where he's just really accurate and he can bowl those lines and lengths that stop run flow, like you were suggesting earlier, like Ishant Sharma was so good at. Um, and then you got Shardul Thakur. Obviously, he scored a 50, which we'll talk about, but I mean, his bowling is just not it, is it? I mean, he got like random ass wickets, but he was expensive. And I don't think, look, I don't think including him just for his batting is worth like what what damage he does to us with his bowling. Um, and yeah, and like compared to Australia's third and fourth seamers, which were Scott Boland, um, who's just a monster,
I mean, at this
and
point, Scott Boland is better than your first and second if you're Australia. Yeah, he was by far the
yeah,
best of the night. Of the
and Cameron Green, who's also like really tight and bowled pretty well. He wasn't being loose at all. Um, yeah, it's just a sad state of our bowling lineup because obviously no Ashwin, and with the injury to Bumrah, it looked really weak.
Yeah, I mean, I think on all counts, it's safe to say it was a stinker from the boys in the first innings. Even Rayan, as you've mentioned a lot over the past few days, as we've all talked about this, you say India chose to bowl first based on conditions that lasted for only 10 minutes, right? The sort of cloudy, overcast. So what do
Yeah.
do you reckon batting first would have unequivocally been better? Or do you think we were kind of leading to the same result, given
No,
our
I
both?
think if we batted first in those first 15 minutes that it was cloudy, we would have lost 5 wickets.
Sure,
So
yeah.
I think the correct option for us was to bat first. We chose the right option, but like we make such instinctive decisions based on how conditions are right now, and like you've got to see the bigger picture because the oval is historically the most spin friendly track in England, and forget about that, even in the last World Test Championship when the first day got rained out, Ashwin bowled incredibly well. So I mean, how you leave him out is just confusing to me, and like I don't get some of the decisions these management people make.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like more than bowling first as a reason for our loss, it's just that our bowling kind of sucks, which
Yeah.
we've talked about.
And see, the thing is, you cannot convince me that Ashwin would have bowled worse than Umesh and Shardul.
Sure, yeah,
Like, I'm not saying this on hindsight. Ashwin is just a better bowler in every single condition compared to those two. So,
yeah,
like, I get it. Like, if maybe Bumrah was there and you had like a in-form Shami and Ishant, that maybe you leave out Ashwin because in those conditions, those three might be better than him.
yeah.
But you can't convince me that Shardul and Umesh Yadav are better bowlers than Ashwin in any condition.
Yeah, and
So
another
it
thing that they were pointing out on commentary, and also the commentary team was so sick this year. I mean, they were so much fun to listen to, no matter what was happening in the game. Like my boy Langer, he was plenty of fun. Um, but the commentary team also pointed out that um, if you look at Australia's best batsman of the tournament, for example, or India's best batsman of the past 2 years in this World Championship cycle, for Australia, I think it's Khawaja, right? Has been the highest run scorer. I'm not too sure, but if I recall correctly, Khawaja was the highest run scorer for Australia in this cycle. No matter the conditions, I don't think it's fair to say that anywhere Australia played in the world, they would have said, "Oh, we're gonna drop our highest run scorer in the past 2 years because the conditions don't suit him." Right? That's just absurd on its face. And in the same vein, Ashwin, who's taken more wickets than anybody else in the cycle, and it's not even like close. I think it was 61 to 45 or something. It was not close. Ashwin is by far the best bowler of this cycle for India. Dropping him based on the conditions, even if we were playing in conditions where Ashwin has never gotten a wicket in his life, it would just be it doesn't make any sense to drop someone who's definitively a best bowler of the past 2 years. And Ashwin can bat too. Ashwin can block. It's not like you're completely losing out. If you played Ashwin for maybe Shardul, it's not like you can make the argument that Shardul can bat and Ashwin can't. Sure, Shardul can bat, but Ashwin can as well. And definitely playing Ashwin over Umesh Yadav is a strong possibility, because Umesh Yadav can't bat nor can he bowl, apparently. So yeah, that's what I reckon about that first innings. And they scored 470, and then yeah, we had an absolute stinker with the bat in our first innings. We were able to salvage it towards the end. It was kind of the opposite of second innings. Second innings we had sort of a late collapse. First innings we had an earlier collapse.
Yeah,
Yeah.
8 wickets in one session in the
Yeah,
second innings.
yeah, that was 7 wickets in one session, right? Because we were 3 down going into the day. Anyway, yeah. So our India's first innings, let's see, 296 all out. Notable performances from Rahane and Shardul, right? That late stand we got from Rahane, Shardul, Jaddu. Complete tail. Rohit failed, Shubman failed, Pujar. Oh my God, we had 2 dismissals from leaving the ball, which is just and it was confused. It was the exact same ball. Like they showed the overlay. It bounced in the exact same place, like down to the mark. It was unreal. What do you reckon? Same bowler, I think, too. Was it? No, it wasn't.
Scott Boland got Gill.
Yeah, never mind. Pujara was green. But anyway,
Yeah.
exact same ball, seaming in. I don't know what the hell they thought was going to happen. But yeah, bro, what do you reckon of our batting in the first innings, apart from the fact that it was Jack?
Okay, so man, I hate talking about India's batting because over the last few years, like the top order has just been so disappointing consistently. Again, Gill and Rohit both looked good. They both got out after an okay start. And I guess like the bright spots were Rahane, because like it was just comeback in after like 500 plus days. He's playing a test match for India, and he showed like real grit and determination at the start. And once he was like set, he started cashing in and scoring pretty consistently. Shame he got out before his 100, because
He saved the match for us, I would say. I mean, we didn't win it, but he saved any possibility of winning.
Rahane is probably the reason that we have, well, it's still an embarrassing defeat, but not as embarrassing as it could have been.
Yeah.
So, and Jadeja also got like 48. So many of our batsmen got out in the 40s this match, which sucks. But Shardul got that 50, as we were talking about. Yeah, he can score, but like the amount of runs he scores, he gives away exponentially more in his bowling. So what's the real point of it?
Yeah.
And yeah, Shrikar Bharat, I guess we'll talk about him towards the end, but yeah, just a sad performance, man. Just sad. Scott Boland was really good though.
Scott Boland, oh my God, he bowled incredibly well. Over on like the first 2 overs, I think he bowled 12 good length balls, like in the good length area, just absolutely beautiful. His consistency, his line was extremely good. Even the balls where he didn't get the wickets, he was looking extremely close. They were playing and missing. He was very close to the edges. He bowled an absolute masterclass, and I think that's why they in the second innings they opened with Scott Boland and Cummins rather than Stark and Cummins, because Stark obviously in this game was a bit disappointing. He was bowling either
way too short. Second time in his career that Stark hasn't opened the bowling.
Yeah, I mean in the first innings he was letting India. I mean India was batting. India batted poorly already, but the minimal runs we did get was because Stark was just bowling way too short, and everyone was just able to like just flick it off the pads or pull it onto the onside. I mean, Stark was probably the reason India got to such a high total with just that start. And then obviously they brought in Scott Boland after just bowling Stark a couple of overs, and in the second innings decided to say goodbye to Stark altogether. In terms of the opening pair. So I mean, I guess my question would be: do you think when Hazelwood comes back, okay? So there are a few things that can happen. It can go back to normal, which means that Scott Boland out, Hazelwood in. You have Hazelwood, Stark, Cummins, scary bowling attack. I don't think that's possible anymore, given how good Boland
You
has
can't
been.
drop Boland.
You cannot drop
He's
Boland.
become unstoppable.
Exactly. So the question is, does Hazelwood just sit out now? Or do you reckon Hazelwood has a shot of coming in for Mitchell Stark? Or do you think that's not possible because Stark's a lefty? I think it's a tough question. What do you reckon?
I think it's a very real option that Hazelwood replaces Mitchell Stark. Um, I would say it's actually like 50-50.
Sure.
Can't make the call. I know obviously Cummins is the captain, he's gonna play for sure. And in my mind, and I'm sure Australia's think tank also think this, Boland is playing that first test. There's no doubt about it. So and Green
What's
has to
Hazelwood's
play.
status on the first test, by the way?
He's been confirmed to be available. So
Okay.
he is available for selection.
Very.
I think it's 50-50. If I was the selector, I would play Hazelwood because
Would you?
Hazelwood Hazelwood is just so tight because he won't go away for runs. That's for
Yeah.
sure. He's so precise and accurate, right?
Yeah.
And Stark has been going for runs. He's been loose. So I would go with Hazelwood for sure.
I reckon maybe Stark gets one more match, and if not, if he doesn't manage to do anything there, I think definitely he's out. Um, for Josh Hazelwood there, and yeah, I mean, I feel like that's all to say about this innings. And second innings was kind of more of the same, at least in the beginning. We had good starts from Marnus. I'm talking about Australia here, obviously. Good starts from Marnus. Good start from Steve. Head, like they all looked like they were getting somewhere, but this time India was able to bottle them a lot better. So do you think India did anything particularly different? I mean, obviously, I feel like they brought in Jaddu a bit quicker in the second innings, but um, apart from that, what do you reckon was the change? And do you think Australia would have been happy after that 270?
I think Australia would have been really happy because I mean they set if India were to win, they would have to have chased the highest score ever in the history of Test cricket.
Sure.
Like no one's done 400 plus before. I think the highest is 300 and something. So Australia would have been really happy, especially with the inconsistent bounce that was evident throughout the match and cracks showing in the pitch. So Nathan Lyon would come into play. So Australia would have been perfectly happy. Um, India, what we did well was uh, I think Jadeja bowled really well.
Yeah.
But other than that, I think a lot of it was to do with Australia just being more attacking in general, thus creating more false shots and getting out more. I don't think it was particularly like a huge step up in the bowling levels. It
Yeah.
was just Australia changing their game approach,
And I
and
mean,
thus
it's obvious. Like in the second innings, they were all looking to be much more aggressive. I mean, if you just look at the way Steve Smith got out, right, trying to just absolutely hoik it. I mean, it was clear that was
yeah,
the game plan from them: score as much as possible, put India into bat, and just take them to the cleaners.
yeah, and another disappointing thing is we let the tailenders, and I include Alex Carey in this because I don't rate him at all. Alex Carey put 40 plus in both innings. Mitchell
Sure.
Stark almost got a 50 uh, in the second innings for Australia, and that's really disappointing to see because one thing you hate, you absolutely hate as the bowling team, is when the lower order just gets runs.
Yeah.
Because I mean, they were at like 330 runs lead, and it went to like 444. So like 100 plus runs just from that tail end, which is really annoying.
I mean, yeah, for the bowling team, you've done the hard work of getting all the batters out. You know, you had the game plan for them. Sometimes it's kind of the lower order that sticks its ugly head out, and they're hard to do anything with. But yeah, and then obviously the second innings, chasing 444, 234 all out. A strong start. I mean, it's clear from the beginning that India was looking to win the match, which was really refreshing and fun to see. Um, Rohit and Gill looking good. Obviously, Gill getting a start in both innings, but not able to do anything with it. Rohit 43. And after that is kind of lackluster. I mean, if you look at the scorecard, it doesn't reflect, I think, how good India was looking going into the fifth day. And I mean, any smart man, any like man who didn't have their heart in the game would have probably still said Australia was going to win that 100%. because it was still an unbelievable total to chase with 7 wickets in hand. But Kohli looking good, looking like a king. Who else do we have? We had Rahane. It's absurd. It's absurd how quickly we collapsed. It's absurd how Rohit and Pujara got out. Pujara, are you kidding me? Trying like an uppercut kind of thing. It was a joke. Rohit's trying to do like that little paddle, like not like he was trying to just cheekily play it. It was just
It was just
hard to
it was
watch.
just sweet. It was a sweet, but it was unnecessary.
Right.
There was no, because
Sure.
why? Just why?
Yeah, there was really no need. And what else? Oh my, Virat Kohli that really
Dude,
pissed me off.
my blood boils just thinking of that dismissal. Bro, what are you doing, man? I mean, do you not know where your stumps are? He's chasing a ball way outside, like fifth stump. It's and how many times has he gotten out to that exact same delivery? I mean, oh,
If Virat Kohli knew not to chase the ball on seventh stump, he'd be at like 165 international centuries by now. I mean, that's such a way to. It's such an easy way. That ball, it wasn't even like a, those balls which. There are sometimes Virat gets out and he plays that shot, but it's kind of understandable. Like sort of fourth, fifth stump, the ball might be seaming in length. This was a very, very wide of stump. It was like almost over pitched. He just swung at it like an ape, man. There was just absolutely no need to play that shot. It was a
and especially in the situation where the team is in, we can't afford to lose wickets. So inherently, you'll have to play more conservatively. So
yeah,
why
and
are
we
you
were.
doing that?
It's not like we were like starved for runs at the point. The runs were flowing. We were able to get boundaries playing the
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
normal shots.
You were comfortably on track to
On
chase
that,
this.
exactly.
Yeah, permitting that we don't lose wickets.
Which
So it
Virat
was
went
a
ahead and
total.
did. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you talked about Pujara too. I mean, it's just not a shot you would expect Pujara to ever play,
Yeah.
and to get up to that, I mean, it had to be some type of nervous thing
Pressure
because
does weird things to you, man. I don't even know what to
yeah,
say.
that was ridiculous. Um, I want to talk about this. Do you think that a green catch to Shubman Gill was out or not out?
Okay, so I've seen, I've read, I've heard a lot about this. So on initial inspection of the catch, just looking at it, I went, okay, I don't think that's out. But first off, when it was given out, I went, like, knowing that it was out, I didn't see that catch particularly live. I went back and saw a replay, but when I knew it was out, and then I saw it and I was like, okay, I get if the umpire thinks it's out. I didn't think it was out, but I understand the umpire thinks it's out. There are a bunch of catches like that are super close. Now, firstly, Harsha Bogle said he thought if like all subcontinental umpires would have given that not out, all umpires outside the Indian subcontinent would have given it out, and it's just something, a way that the umpires perceive the rules. Because I mean, there are like the technology is only so accurate, right? The hand is kind of under the ball and the ball's pitching, but you can't really tell. But I was still leaning towards not out, and then I saw the great cricketers, uh the real best cricket, I mean the second best cricket podcast in the world, um do a segment on it. And the point that he made was the rules of cricket are not the ball cannot touch the ground. The rule is that, and I obviously go back and watch his, because his is he spoke about it more precisely. The idea is that you're in complete control of the ball, and the control of the ball is not dependent on the ground. So the idea is that he was in control of the ball, and as it went down, if it weren't for the ground did not aid in his control. He was in complete control, and the ball may have happened to touch the ground or on his finger, and he thought, completely justified for being out. He would have seen it if it was not out as well. So I mean, I feel like that was made a lot bigger of a deal. I mean, obviously you have some morons saying like, oh, if the roles were reversed, if it was an Australian, it would have been given not out. If it was not, it was any team except, like,
You know which moron said that?
who said
Your
that?
favorite commentator, Justin Langer.
Yeah, Justin Langer is trying to. He's my boy, but he was that's just absolutely moronic take. I mean, it was very clear to see. I mean, it wasn't clear to see, but it was clear to see why the umpire thought it was out. I don't see why it is a big deal. And obviously Shubman Gill going on Twitter and all that, I think he shouldn't have done that. It was really stupid. And at some point you have to, no matter what you think of the umpire decision, the umpire decision is the umpire decision, and that's it. There's no more discussion about it, unless of course you review it. But this was a third umpire decision, so yeah. What do you reckon?
Okay, so even I did my fair share of research, and look, watching it live, I thought that was out. Then
Sure.
on closer inspection on the replay, I thought it was out again. But then some images started circulating online of like more zoomed in images from different angles, and like you could see it was touching the ground. And that's where like you brought up the actual rules. That's where that debate comes into play. So the rules are the fielder needs to be in complete control of the ball before it touches the ground. So if it touches the ground and he's not in complete control, then obviously it's not out. And that's really the only point there is to debate. So yeah, do I think it would have changed the result? No, I think India would have still lost, even if Shubman Gill had played batting. I mean, had continued to bat, but yeah, tough situation. And yeah, you're right. Gill shouldn't have gone on Twitter and done
And
that
the
because
Indian fans afterwards, nah, man.
bro,
Joke.
I can't be asked with Indian
Nah,
fans, dude.
disgrace.
Most Indian fans are so
Giving us a
I don't
bad.
know. I don't feel like I should say some of these words. So let's just let's move on.
Yeah.
Um
I
yeah.
don't even understand how dude, Cameron Green looks like the most innocent. Like, he doesn't know what's happening, bro.
Dude, the Indian fans was chanting cheat sheet. I mean, bro, shut up, man. Dude, if I was the fielder, I would have 100% thought I would got that. I thought I got that. Like, I don't believe for a split second Cameron Green like even had a doubt in his mind that he didn't catch that because
Yeah.
bro, like in the heat of the moment with all of that adrenaline, you would think you got that.
Yeah.
He's not cheating. Like,
Yeah.
come on, like be real.
Seems like a
And
nice enough bloke, bro. But
dude,
yeah.
baby, come on.
Yeah, dude, Cameron Green is the most, like, he's huge. He's what, 6'6", 6'5", 6'6", but he seems like such an innocent dude, just like walking around. Yeah, and I also feel like it's important to state how good Pat Cummins was, even though the scorecard won't reflect that. I mean, 2 wickets, which were no balls, which were just, it's poetic. They gave India every opportunity we had. Like, we had two wickets which were exactly on no balls from Pat Cummins. What else did we have? We had Cameron Green dropping that catch in the slips, and yeah, I mean, India has absolutely no excuse. We got we got so much thrown our way, and we weren't able to do anything with it. So, I mean, I think the only conclusion is that the Aussies are a better cricket team. Pat Cummins bowled brilliantly. The Cummins
Yeah,
era was on us. I don't know what to say.
yeah, and in these conditions, Australia were the better team, and
For sure.
Australia were the deserved winners. They and like they outplayed us in every department. Fielding, they took some stunners. Even though you mentioned that Green drop catch, he took a really good slip catch as well. I remember flying.
He took two, I
Steve Smith,
think. So there's a
Steve
like
Smith,
the
obviously, like one of the best slip fielders we have in the world today,
yeah.
and he batted really well. We didn't talk about Steve Smith's 100 because
Oh yeah,
Travis had overshadowed it, but Smith's 100 was really important as
great
well.
100. Yeah.
And obviously the bowling, Cummins was really consistent. He applied pressure constantly, and Boland's just a monster. And Nathan Lyon, obviously, man was kind of good. I don't like giving him credit, but he was good.
I think Nathan Lyon might be the most like underrated spinner in world cricket, like maybe ever. Because I mean, if you look at his record alone and look at in every test match, he there's no test match where Nathan Lyon bowls poorly. At least the far and few between. He's one of the best off spinners, I think, in Test cricket. And yeah, I don't know if he gets his due, but in this game, as much as all the others, he bowled incredibly well. Even on I think the first time India came into bat, he bowled only a couple of overs on the day. I think day 2, and he took something there as well. So yeah, great stuff from Nathan Lyon. And I feel like that covers it for this test match. I have one question. What do you reckon will be the score? How badly does Australia beat England in this Ashes series? How badly?
I think it's going to be an
Scoreline.
insanely close Ashes. I think
You
it's
think
going to be
so?
like, yeah, I think it's going to be a really close Ashes. And it's going to be one of the best series this year for sure.
I'm excited.
I think Australia win. Um,
It'll be
see,
by win. Do you mean retain or win? Because if they win, I think it's the first time in 22 years win of them
no,
winning in
if they
England.
win, they'll retain because they won back in Australia. But it'll be the first
No, no,
time
no.
in,
I'm saying. Do you think they're going to win
yeah,
the series, or do you think they're just going to retain the earn?
no, I think they'll win the series. They'll win
Okay.
3-2. I don't think there's going to be a single draw.
Oh wow.
Uh, I think they'll win 3-2. It's going to be a great series to watch out for. I have a couple questions for you too, about the Indian cricket team. So a few questions. I'll just name them all and then you can give me your answers. Do you think there's going to be a change in captaincy? Do you think who do you think is going to get dropped for our series in West Indies coming?
Sure.
Who do you think their replacement should be? And and that's about it. Yeah, those three questions.
Ooh. Okay. Captaincy. First of all, I mean, I'm sure we all saw Rohit after the match. That was just so annoying. We put on a good show, and today, like, nobody cares about that crap anymore, bro. You went out there to win a game of cricket.
So just standard PR stuff,
The
man.
standard nonsense. He says it after every single important loss. It's tiring at this point. But no, I don't think there'll be a change in captain. Partly because I don't know if there's anyone to change it to. I mean, I'm sure you can say Ajinkya Rahane, but I don't really think they're
No,
gonna change it to
no,
Ajinkya
yeah.
Rahane.
So I agree with you on that.
I mean, Ajinkya
I
Rahane
think
was on the brink of, like, no one was sure if he was
yeah, you can't make Rahane captain after one match,
exactly.
and Rohit just scored 100 last series against Australia, so you can't discount that. Rohit, the Test batter, is still very much our second best batter right now behind
Uh,
Rishabh Pant, and Rishabh Pant isn't available, so Rohit needs to stay captain.
And maybe you never know, man. Shrikar Bharat, he looked all right in the second innings. Gotta give him credit where he's due. He looked a bit shaky with the gloves, but I mean, it's always hard in England for the first time in an
Yeah,
international
I think you
series.
have to give Shikhar Bhatt one more series against West Indies
Yeah,
because his first 5 tests have all been against Australia, the number one ranked team. That's a tough way to start your career.
yeah.
So let's see what he does in West Indies before making a decision on him.
Okay, so that's that. West Indies, obviously. Oof. I think Umesh Yadav might be done here, man. I don't see why
Yeah,
Umesh Yadav needs to be with the
I
team
think
anymore.
Umesh Yadav is gonna get discarded,
I'm not the
and
biggest Shardul Thakur fan, but he'll definitely stay around, I reckon.
oh, Shardul will stay. They love Shardul, man. They
They
have an
love
obsession
Shardul,
with.
yeah. Uh,
Um,
so
what about
Umesh
Pujara?
definitely
Do
gets
you
dropped.
think Pujara plays?
I think Pujara should get dropped, but I don't think Pujara will get dropped.
Who do
Um,
you think should come in for Pujara
so
in
that's
case he
what
gets?
I was just about to ask. I was just about to think, is it like think out loud. I'm not really sure.
Maybe someone like Yashasvi Jaiswal.
I don't
He's
know.
been he's
I
been
don't know
really
if
good
there's
in
someone who can fill in the Pujara role at the moment. I mean, Pujara's role more than a run scorer is obviously someone who just sticks it out in the middle. And I mean, maybe we don't need a batsman who just sticks it out in the middle, but I mean, I feel like all teams have that one. We have Pujara. Australia, maybe it's Marnus. Now he's playing that kind of role. He's not a run scorer. He sticks in. He blocks the ball. At least in this match, that's how he was playing. England sort of has a route to do that sometimes. But yeah,
England is just different, man.
England.
Let's
That's
not
to be fair.
let's
That's
not club England with the rest.
yeah.
England's
Yeah.
doing their own thing.
Yeah, England's on a different train, but yeah, I'm not sure. I don't think they'll drop Pujara. They'll probably give him one more series. But yeah, I think as of now the only pressing change is drop Umesh Yadav, and also, I mean, I feel like do you think the BCCI could have done anything different in terms of how IPL was scheduled so close to World Championship? You had Jaddu, a bunch of people coming in from IPL, going directly from T20.
Could they have done something different? Yeah.
Would they have known?
Would it be realistic to expect them to? No.
Right.
So
I mean,
so
you
that's
never
where.
know. Like we don't know what the outcome would have been if India played, like a full length. practice game before. We know how seriously Australia takes these camps. We've seen it in the test, obviously, where I don't remember ahead of which Ashes, but they had like they flew in like what 30 Australian players to do like a 11 aside and pick the team based on that, which is just unbelievable dedication to the series. I don't see India ever doing anything remotely like that for Test cricket at this point. But you know, it is what it is. India maybe is moving to a new darker stage where we only care about T20. I hope that day doesn't come very soon though. Yeah,
Yeah.
tough.
So that's it. So that's it, guys. That's what we got for the WTC final coverage. We'll see you guys most probably for the series you've all been awaiting, the Ireland T20 series. We got you for that. Don't worry, we've got that covered. Hopefully, Om will be back for that one.
Yeah, hopefully.
So make sure to like and comment and share. We're getting big now. So dub.
Yeah, we're getting like 200 views, unbelievable. And also, guys,
It's great.
I'm gonna be in the UK for the Ashes, and my mom isn't letting me go for any of the matches. So if you can just comment below that like you want me to go for the Ashes, maybe my mom will listen to like strangers.
Let's start a petition that
These guys.
let women go to the Ashes.
Let
Come
women go to
on.
the Ashes. The more of you commented, the more she'll be inclined to let
Oh yeah,
me
for
go.
sure.
Yeah. That's how it
Yeah.
works. All right. Bye.